Your car is no longer tragic. So when life throws you uh-ohs, just say, better get Mako, and go to Mako.com to book your appointment today.
With all the sports we have, every time of the year is the best time of the year.
And the crowd just buzzing with excitement.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on a Friday edition of Game Night. 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, getting you ready for a busy sports weekend. You got Sixers in action tonight and tomorrow night. Back-to-backer, a start of a very difficult stretch for the Sixers. We'll get into that in just a bit. Sixers play the Cavs tonight, starting at 7 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. And then tomorrow night, they take on the Heat in Miami. So as soon as the game is done tonight, they have to fly down to Miami. So we'll see how they handle it back-to-back, and then they have to come back and play more games at home. So they got a very busy stretch coming up at games. We'll document that. Also, I'll give you my thoughts and picks for UFC 272, which is tomorrow night, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. And also, we'll get a little NFL news here in just a moment. Don't forget, you can join the conversation. You can text us at 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Listening on 97.3 ESPN FM. If you're listening on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, which is free, thanks to First Bank of Seattle, you could DM the show through the app right there. Also, later tonight, don't forget, every Friday, we give you the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. You've been voting all week over at 97.3ESPN.com and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Before we get to the Sixers busy weekend and then my UFC picks a little bit later in the hour, I do want to get to this NFL news that came out today. So for those who didn't see it, the Cowboys are already making a decision about their wide receiver situation. And I got to admit, guys, I'm a little surprised. And this impacts the Eagles for a couple reasons I'll get to in a second. But the Cowboys are intending to release Amari Cooper before the new league year. It will save a $16 million cap hit. He would have been paid potentially a total of $20 million this year. Adam Schefter is also reporting the Cowboys are working on a new deal with free agent to be receiver Michael Gallup. The deal is considered to be close per sources, according to Adam Schefter. So the Cowboys are keeping Michael Gallup over Amari Cooper. Now, I find this interesting for two reasons. One, I had asked the question a couple of weeks ago about Gallup. If you are the Eagles, would you consider signing him in free agency and taking him away from Dallas? Well, Dallas has made the decision for you. They're not keeping the three receivers. They're going with Gallup, Lamb, and Wilson. And they're saying, Amari Cooper, you cost too much money. You're out. This is a very intriguing situation. I also think it's interesting that the Cowboys gave up all that they did. Remember a few years ago when they gave up all those draft picks, get Amari Cooper. We get Amari Cooper's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's top 3 in Cowboys history in receiving yards per game. Yeah. So you got a guy who's been incredibly productive for you in a Cooper, and you're saying, hey, you cost too much money. Get out of here. That's a bold move by a Cowboys franchise that has been, shall I say, infamous for spending money. And they're picking a guy in Gallup who has an injury history. Amari Cooper has played at least 15 games each of the last 3 years for Dallas. Now, I'm not including the half year they brought him in 2018. But for the 3 full seasons he's been in Dallas, about this guy he's 27 turning 28. He turns 28 this summer. He's not old. Amari Cooper has 239 receptions. That's an average of 79 receptions a season. He's averaging 7 touchdowns per season, a total of 21 over the last 3 years. That's really productive. And what they're doing in Dallas, and I think this is a huge risk on their part, they're saying we'll take Michael Gallup, who has been injured every year in Dallas. Yes, Michael Gallup has missed a minimum of 1 game every year in a Cowboys uniform due to injury. Dallas would rather re-sign that guy than bring back one of the most productive wide receivers for the Cowboys since Des Bryant, basically. And this is the Cowboys franchise that gave up a first-round pick for this guy. They gave him the extension. They gave him the $100 million contract. And now they're saying, we like Gallup better and CeeDee Lamb better. Amari Cooper is going to be the best wide receiver available in free agency. I asked Mike Gill earlier, if you're the Eagles, do you go out and get him to pair him with Devonta Smith? You don't think Amari Cooper would love to come back and haunt his former team for letting him go? This isn't a washed up, this isn't, DeMarco Murray, who was run into the ground numerous times by the Cowboys running attack. This isn't some old player who used to be on one of your rival teams. No, this is he'll be 28 years old next year. And the Cowboys are saying, we are going to give up on the guy who has played 54 games in a Cowboys uniform and given us 27 touchdowns in a Cowboys uniform in 3.5 years. And we're going to take the guy who's only started 43 games in a Cowboys uniform, who's only 2 years younger, 2 years. Happy birthday, Michael Gallup today. He's 26 years old. 2 years younger than Amari Cooper, who has had numerous injuries. He's given us 15 touchdowns in 4 years, but he only has 1 season that he was on the field for 15 games. It's very curious to me why they're picking Gallup. There's got to be something outside from the money here. And where it relates to the Eagles is this. If anybody watched the draft combine at all last night, by the way, if you haven't seen the video, go check out Bo Melton of Cedar Creek. The Mays Landing young man went out there and ran one of the best 40 times at the combine last night. He's getting rave reviews. All the wide receivers performed very well at the combine yesterday. And it's being suggested now that teams are going to leave Indianapolis looking at the wide receiver free agents and saying, do I really want to give Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, Mike Williams, any of these receivers available in free agency a big contract? Or would I rather go out and get a young receiver, hold his rights on an inexpensive contract for 4 to 5 years and see where that goes? It's a very interesting decision. And if you're an NFL team and you're looking at wide receiver help, and you are a team that, like, say, is the Cowboys, it makes more sense to save a little money on your cap. You're paying Dak Prescott a stupid amount of money. You're paying Ezekiel Elliott too much money. You got to keep up your offensive line. You got to put your team in a position where they can win and still pay your stars if you're Dallas. Philadelphia doesn't have some expensive quarterback or an expensive running back or an expensive receiver. Part of the reason why they have salary cap space to go in free agency. But if the market is going to be less than these guys expected, because teams are saying, I don't want to give Allen Robinson a big contract or Amari Cooper or any of these guys. I don't want to give these guys a big contract. I'd rather get somebody in the draft. It's going to be less expensive. That's going to drive down the market. Allen Robinson turns 29 this summer. Amari Cooper turns 28 this summer. These are two talented receivers. Now, Robinson, I understand, has been very up and down in Chicago. His stats have not been great. Robinson, during his time in Chicago, 4 years, he has 18 touchdowns. So he's not even on Cooper's level of productivity. But you got to remember, look who his quarterbacks have been. A Justin Fields learning on the job, an over-the-hill Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky. It's not like he's had great quarterback play. Amari Cooper, aside from that stretch of games when Dak went down with the injury, and he had Ben DiNucci and guys like that throwing to him, Cooper's now one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing to him. So when you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing to you, and in 3.5 years you have 27 touchdowns, on the flip side, you have some mediocre to poor quarterback play thrown to you, and you have 18 touchdowns in 4 years. For Allen Robinson, the drop-off is not that great. What concerns you is, why was the Bears' offense so bad last year that Robinson had the worst year of his career? Allen Robinson caught 14 touchdowns from Blake Bortles one year. He had 7 touchdowns and 98 catches one year, 102 catches and 6 touchdowns the next year from Mitch Trubisky. He's shown to be productive no matter who the receiver he as a receiver is throwing, catching passes from as quarterback. I would definitely consider Allen Robinson. The problem is that if these teams collectively say, I'm not going to give these guys big money, if I can get a wide receiver in the draft of comparable ability, obviously less experience, obviously it's still to be proven how good they could be in the NFL. But guess what? George Pickens is a phenomenal talent. Bo Melton is going to be a steal for somebody in this draft this year. You look it up and down the draft, Burks from Arkansas, he's going to be a good NFL receiver. You can find receivers in this draft, probably the top 5 rounds, you can get good wide receivers. If you're an NFL team that's already got some veterans, why do you need to sign another veteran? Only teams like the Eagles really need to sign a veteran because they have too much youth on their roster as is. I want to know what the Eagles do, because we know they have a history of spending money in free agency. Jeffrey Lurie has given Howie Roseman, I don't want to say a blank check. He's given him the authority to go out there and make a lot of moves since Howie came back from the broom closet. I'm curious to see, is Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson a couple of guys that Lurie turns to Roseman and says, listen, I don't want to spend a ton of money, but I'm willing to spend some money because I know that these guys can help our team be better. They will help our quarterback. They will help our offense. We know that this draft does not have a great quarterback class. It has a very good wide receiver class. It has a great defensive line class. It has a very good linebacker class. It's got a good safety class. It's got a very good cornerback class. These are some positions the Eagles need. If the Eagles can take advantage of a market that says, all right, guys, here's the deal. We know other teams are not giving you big money. Allen Robinson, you're coming off the worst year of your career. We'll give you a prove-it deal. Amari Cooper, the Cowboys didn't want to give you that $16 million minimum base salary, $20 million. We're not giving it to you either, but we will give you something else. Is it worth it? As you an Eagles fan, do you want the Eagles to go out and sign an Amari Cooper or an Allen Robinson in this free agent market? Let me know. 609-403-0973 is the text board. 609-403-0973. Listening on 973 ESPN FM. If you're listening on 973 ESPN mobile app, you can DM the show. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. Also this hour, we will get you ready for Sixers basketball tonight. Sixers back in action, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. We will give you the rough stretch coming up, plus my picks for the weekend. UFC 272 tomorrow night. Masvidal Covington. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. I can't wait for it. I'll tell you why a little bit later in the show. So we got all that more, your texts, your messages, plus we will announce at 6:50 tonight the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. We do each and every week. You can vote over at 973ESPN.com and the 973 ESPN mobile app. You can get all the details about who the nominees are each week. You can vote, and then we will announce the nominees each Friday at 6:50 right here on 97.3 ESPN FM here on Game Night with me, Josh Hennig. This hour of Game Night being brought to you by AC Airport. Cold weather got you down. Forget the snow boots. Forget the hoodies and pack your swimsuit. Atlantic City International Airport offers nonstop flights to Cancun. Book your flight today at spirit.com. Still to come, Sixers, UFC 272, and more right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig, live in the Matt Black Kia studios on Game Night.
They score!
It's Flyers Blackhawks tomorrow with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. on your home for Flyers hockey in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hoops are happening, and college basketball's biggest stage is right around the corner on PropSwap. Every season, prop swappers make thousands of dollars by simply buying and selling college basketball teams. Now is the time to find those Cinderellas while the odds are high. So get to your sportsbook, buy a handful of tickets, and list them on PropSwap. Remember, only one team needs to make a run, and that ticket will pay for the rest. Dark horses happen every year, so download the free PropSwap app today. PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The NFL football season is over, and the winter of 2022 is coming to a close. We are rapidly moving toward two long-awaited dates. One, after February 26th, there are only 3 Saturdays left until spring. And on March 13th, we move our clocks ahead. Hi, Tom McAllister from McAllister the Service Company. These are annual milestones that set us on a path towards warmer weather and those hot summer days. Remember the end of last summer when you decided to put off upgrading your older, inefficient air conditioning system? Now's the perfect time to revisit that idea and take advantage of preseason discounts and also the rebates offered by the state and the utilities. Talk to the experts at McAllister at 609-927-4122 or at mcservice.com for all of your air conditioning and heating needs. McAllister, we cannot control the weather, but we can control your comfort.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast. And I stopped working weekends, thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/radar. Head to netsuite.com/radar for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
Why is it that every March, everyone's either a basketball bracketologist expert or 100% Irish? Not that there's anything wrong with the two. All you need to know this March is at Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River. If you have a job clearing $350 per week, you could be approved with 0 down, 0.9% financing for 60 months, or $1,000 cash back at Matt Blatt Kia on every clearly marked new Kia in stock. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. So bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. $1,705 per $1,000 for 60 months. $1,000 off all 2022 Stingers. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 4/6/2022. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here on Game Night Live, the Matt Blatt Kia Studios here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Get you guys' thoughts and comments on the text board at 609-403-0973 and your DMs to the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City in just a minute. But Game Night being brought to you by Resorts Casino Hotel, home to DraftKings Sportsbook. Visit resortsac.com for more details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'll get you some picks for tonight for the Sixers and the UFC tomorrow a little bit later in the hour. But first, I want to hear from some of you guys out there. Coming on the text board at 609-403-0973. Texter says, I say no to both Robinson and Cooper. I say the Eagles should trade for Calvin Ridley. First of all, congrats to the texter for thinking outside the box. I love it when someone doesn't go A, B, or C. They come up with their own option. And it's a reasonable one. Now, here's the thing with Ridley. Ridley took time away from Atlanta last year due to personal/mental health reasons. It's not clear as of right now all the details that go with that decision. I don't want to sit here and tell you in any presumptive way the status of Calvin Ridley's mental health or anything. I do know that there are a lot of reports out there that are saying that the Falcons are open to shopping him. If that's the case, he is an interesting player for the Eagles to target. Now, the problem is, what are you willing to give up for him? Because here's the thing with Ridley. Ridley is phenomenally talented. I think anyone who has watched him knows that he's talented. The problem is that anytime you know that with a mental health situation, I don't want to be presumptuous, right? I don't want to be the kind of person who sits here and says, like, I know what the guy's going through or not going through. I really don't know. He's 27 years old, so he's younger than Robinson. He's about the same age as Amari Cooper. Is he worth trading for? I think he's worth trading for. I don't know how good he is at this point. He basically took half of last year off, right? I don't know what that means for him coming back. Does he need a ramp-up period? Will he be back better than ever, right? I don't know. Him and Amari Cooper are about the same age. He's going to cost you about $11 million. That's his salary cap hit for next year. So are you, as the Eagles, willing to take an $11 million salary cap and give up draft pick assets to get him? One thing I know for sure, I have zero interest in trading a high draft pick for Calvin Ridley. I know he himself is a first-round pick. But I think that part of this is my question with these other guys. Was his production a byproduct of the offense he was in, or is it him? Like I said with Amari Cooper, he played most of the time with Dak Prescott. That definitely helps his case and his numbers. Whereas Allen Robinson played with Mitch Trubisky and a bunch of nobodies. Calvin Ridley has a former NFL MVP and Matt Ryan throwing to him for the last few years. From 2018 to 2020, Ridley appeared in 44 games. He had 26 total touchdowns in that span. So his numbers over a 3-year period are right in line with Amari Cooper. His touchdowns are better than Allen Robinson, but he had a better quarterback throwing to him. He is averaging over 1,000 yards per season. He is averaging 72 catches per season. Now, the 72 catches over that 3-year run is less than both Cooper and Robinson over a similar 3-year span. Again, I'm not including Ridley's 2021 stats because he only appeared in 5 games, and the reported reason why he was out was because of mental health reasons. And then the Falcons pretty much told him just not to come back. I don't know all the details. I don't live in Atlanta. I don't have some best friend who knows Calvin Ridley to tell you all the details there. But Ridley is an interesting guy. He's very interesting to see what you can get. Now, if you're trading just for Ridley, I can't trade a first-round pick for him. And the reason why I can't trade a first-round pick is, one, I personally am dead set on the Eagles getting the best talent possible in this draft and next year's draft. To me, I don't want to give the opportunity to somebody else. You stole draft picks, stole them, ripped them away from the Colts and the Dolphins. I'm not giving those picks to Atlanta. Now, if Atlanta is willing to take, let's say, a second-round pick, I think it's a conversation worth having. Because, one, Ridley is going to cost you $11 million. And signing Allen Robinson would probably cost you about the same amount of money. Let me double check what Allen Robinson made this past year. Because I already know that Amari Cooper made $20 million last year. He was due $16 million this year. Okay. So Robinson played on the franchise tag for $17.8 million. His contract before that, that was a franchise tag he played on last year. Before that, let me see here, history. He played, okay, so in 2020, he got paid $10.9 million, $9.9 million the year before, and he earned $9 million total the year before that. So Robinson, aside from last year's franchise tag, got paid roughly what Calvin Ridley does. So what I'm garnering from the person texting in here, and I appreciate them bringing up a different player, is he would rather the Eagles go out and get Calvin Ridley than sign an Allen Robinson. Now, he also sent in a trade offer Falcons get the 19th overall pick and the 3rd round pick, and Andre Dillard for Calvin Ridley, AJ Terrell, and a 6th round pick. Yeah, I'm not doing that deal. And neither are the Falcons. Here's why. Number one, I don't think the Falcons are giving up AJ Terrell. I just don't. I think the Eagles want to fleece somebody else for a 1st round pick when it comes to Andre Dillard. I think the Eagles want to see if they can take advantage of somebody in this draft. Maybe a team that was looking at one of the offensive linemen in the 1st round that didn't get him, didn't get the offensive lineman that went in free agency. If they can steal a 1st, 2nd round pick for Dillard, I think they'd rather do that than trade him in a deal to get a guy like Calvin Ridley. And I just don't see the Falcons giving up AJ Terrell. He's one of the best young corners in the league, and I just don't see Atlanta going out and getting him. And for the Eagles, they can draft a version of AJ Terrell in the draft with the 19th overall pick. Again, why would you give Atlanta that opportunity to do something that you can do? I think it's a good idea by the texter. I like the thinking outside the box. I just don't know if Calvin Ridley is worth all of that. Again, I just don't see Atlanta giving up Ben Terrell, and I don't know if the Eagles want to give up Dillard in a deal like that. I think Howie's got this thing about winning trades. Very rarely has he made trades that are beneficial for everybody involved. And listen, AJ Terrell is phenomenally talented, and I would love to see him in an Eagles uniform. I just don't see Atlanta giving him up. At the 19th overall pick, you can get a guy like a Booth from Clemson or an Elam from Florida, or maybe someone like that. I'm not a fan of McDuffie and Stingley personally. I think Gardner will probably not make it to the Eagles in the mid-teens. So it's interesting. It's an interesting way of thinking about it. I just don't know if Ridley is better or more valuable to you than getting a guy in free agency. Another text comes in at 609-403-0973. Texter chimes in and says, the Eagles need to get J.C. Jackson at all costs. Get DJ Chark in free agency, use the draft capital to fill the defense. Here's the problem I have with J.C. Jackson. Is J.C. Jackson that good? Or is J.C. Jackson a byproduct of being in Bill Belichick's defense? We've seen a lot of players who were productive in New England who were not as productive elsewhere. Remember, the reason why J.C. Jackson is in the position he is right now is because he was an undrafted free agent. He had some personal problems off the field. The Patriots scooped him up. They rehabilitated his whatever was going on off the field. And they turned him into a star corner to the point where they were willing to give up on Stephon Gilmore, get rid of him, and Gilmore's one of the best corners in the league, to make Jackson their number one guy moving forward. I'm assuming the Patriots either franchise tag him or pay him good money to stay. I don't think you're going to be able to get J.C. Jackson. DJ Chark is a guy I've heard a lot about the Eagles potentially pursuing. And part of it has to do with that the former Jags GM Caldwell is now one of the main advisors to Howie Roseman. He's the reason why they traded for Gardner Minshew. And there's the theory out there that Caldwell, because he drafted Chark, would tell Howie he should go get him. Now, Chark is one of these guys that if you brought him in, you're bringing him in on potential, not as much as of a resume of production. Chark has one really good season. That was 2019 when he had 8 touchdowns in 15 games, 73 catches, just over 1,000 yards. That was his best season. And that was the year that he had Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles throwing to him. The next year and the year after, Chark's numbers went way down. Okay. In 2020, he had Minshew and who's that? Mike Glennon. Yeah, Mike Glennon throwing to him. And he went from 8 touchdowns to 5 touchdowns, from 1,008 yards to 706 yards. Now, he did miss a couple games due to injury that year. He also missed games last year due to injury. And Howie Roseman has said previously that the Eagles are going to be apprehensive about going after injured players again because of their bad experiences with injured players, trying to get them on the floor, trying to get them productive. So I ask you, are you willing to bring in a guy with an injury history like DJ Chark to an organization that couldn't get Deshaun Jackson on the field, had trouble with all kinds of guys with injury issues? You know, Jordan Hicks couldn't stay on the field in Philadelphia. He plays almost every game in Arizona. You know, we used to talk years ago on, you know, when Mike Gill was doing football at 4 with John McMullen, I felt like every week there was a conversation with the Eagles medical staff, right? Are we really taking on another project, another injured guy? I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of going down that road right now. I think Chark is phenomenally talented, but I just don't know if I'm tiering this, I'll take Ridley over Chark, because to me, mental health is a thing that I know guys have come back from. I've seen plenty of athletes talk about their mental health problems. They come back and they do fine. But physical injuries wear down the player's ability to be productive. And that's what worries me about DJ Chark. Multiple seasons now, he has missed games due to injury. So I would take Ridley over him. And then I would take probably Robinson over Ridley, because I think Robinson has put up better stats with worse cornerbacks than Ridley has. And then Amari Cooper, the problem with Cooper is the money. Is Cooper want to be paid like one of the best receivers in the NFL? Or does he want to, or is he willing to take a little bit less money? Or would he only be a 1-year contract kind of thing? Again, a lot of questions there. I do agree with the texter says they need to use the draft capital on defense. This team needs defensive talent desperately. I cannot emphasize enough that if the Eagles don't walk out of the first round with at least 2 defensive players, I am going to lose my mind on this microphone the next day. I will lose it, because there is no reason why this team shouldn't go out and get as much defensive talent as possible. Considering last year, you got lucky, okay? You were very fortunate to play Trevor Siemian and Mike Glennon and Zach Wilson's horrible Jets team. I feel like they were very fortunate last year to play a rough schedule to get them to the postseason. You're not going to be that lucky again. I just don't see it. So if I am the Eagles, I got to go defense heavy in the draft. And someone just texted in, you know, the Eagles need a wide receiver. Who's your top target? My top target still is Allen Robinson. I'm a big believer in 2 things with Robinson. 1, you can get him on a prove-it deal and not spend as much money. 2, I think that when it comes to Robinson, he did more with a worse quarterback situation compared to Ridley and compared to Cooper. And I'm a big believer in guys who are productive in bad situations or not ideal situations. So when I look at Robinson, that's what I like about him. Robinson, Ridley, Cooper, they're all about the same age anyway. DJ Chark is the younger guy in the conversation. If you want to go younger and you're willing to look past the injury situation, Chark's your guy. If you want to get a veteran receiver like I do, someone who can come in tomorrow, start across from Devonta Smith, take pressure off of him, take pressure off the quarterback, take pressure off the play caller, Sirianni, who we know Sirianni messed up this past year. There were multiple times that Sirianni put too much pressure on his quarterback to save him because he was making bad play calls at times. Takes pressure off. Everybody get a veteran receiver in here. So Robinson would be my number one target. I'm only entertaining Cooper if he's going to come at a reasonable price. I'm not giving that guy $20 million, $18 million, anything like that. And then Ridley would be my third target because he's only going to cost you $11 million. He obviously wants to be out of Atlanta. Atlanta wants to be done with him. And you might be able to get him from Atlanta for a little less than a top pick because you know Atlanta wants to get rid of him. So if you play hardball with Atlanta, you might be able to only get him for maybe a second or a third round pick. That's how I look at the receivers. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I'll give you my picks for the weekend. Sixers tonight. Of course, you hear on 97.3 ES versus the Cavs. There was some speculation that Tobias Harris was questionable for tonight, but it's been officially stated he is starting tonight. He is good to go for your 76ers. So Tobias Harris is a go tonight. He is not questionable. He is playing. So that is a little news for you here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you live in the Matt Black Kia Studios. You guys keep texting in. The text board is 609-403-0973. You can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Also coming up in 8 minutes, we will announce the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. You've been voting all week at 97.3 ESPN.com and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. And we will announce the winner coming up in about 8 minutes from now. That along with my picks for UFC 272, all here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank CLC. I'm Josh Hennig at Josh Hennig on Twitter. This is Game Night.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Back out to Hart, deep three. He got it. James Hart evens the score at 98.
The Sixers host the Cleveland Cavaliers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. Have you ever cooked a really fine gourmet meal? Yeah, me neither. But I'm told it all comes down to the ingredients. And when I need ingredients to improve my car, the place I go is eBay Motors. Whether you roasted your last transmission, graded your current floor mats, or pureed your side view mirror on a lamppost, eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And by the way, if you recently fired up your grill, don't worry, eBay Motors has grills too. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
The NFL football season is over, and the winter of 2022 is coming to a close. We are rapidly moving toward two long-awaited dates. One, after February 26th, there are only 3 Saturdays left until spring, and on March 13th, we move our clocks ahead. Hi, Tom McAllister from McAllister the Service Company. These are annual milestones that set us on a path towards warmer weather and those hot summer days. Remember the end of last summer when you decided to put off upgrading your older, inefficient air conditioning system? Now's the perfect time to revisit that idea and take advantage of preseason discounts and also the rebates offered by the state and the utilities. Talk to the experts at McAllister at 609-927-4122 or at mcservice.com for all of your air conditioning and heating needs. At McAllister, we cannot control the weather, but we can control your comfort.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Why is it that every March, everyone's either a basketball bracketologist expert or 100% Irish? Not that there's anything wrong with the two. All you need to know this March is at Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River. If you have a job clearing $350 per week, you could be approved with 0 down, 0.9% financing for 60 months, or $1,000 cash back at Matt Blatt Kia on every clearly marked new Kia in stock. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released, so bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. $1,705 per $1,000 for 60 months. $1,000 off all 2022 Stingers. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 4/6/2022. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers versus Cavs tonight. It's the start of a daunting stretch for your 76ers. Easy for me to say. I've been riding this a lot for those who've been listening. I've been riding the whole Maxey minimum 15 points and Embiid minimum 25 points. And then the Harden 10 assists. Same game parlay. Right now, tonight, I'll garner you a plus 231. Which means a $10 wager will net you $23. I like that for tonight. I think that tonight is the night you want to rock with the Sixers. They're still at home. They got the Cavs right in front of them. I think tomorrow night is where they finally lose with Harden on the floor. I think tomorrow will be the night that they actually don't get it done. And the reason that is because remember, they're flying down late tonight, early in the morning to Miami. So you have a team that, let's be realistic, they haven't had a lot of games, back-to-back situations like this yet with Harden. So, yeah, they're winning with him. This upcoming schedule is going to be a real doozy. Cavs tonight at home. Then they got to fly down to Miami tomorrow night for an 8 p.m.er with the Miami Heat. Then they have to come back home Monday and play the Bulls. So that's 3 of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Then Thursday at home, you have to play the Nets with Kevin Durant back, with Kyrie Irving because it's in Philadelphia. So it's a road game for the Nets. So you got Cavs, Heat, Bulls, Nets, 4 games in a row. I expect the Sixers to lose Saturday in Miami, come back and win Monday versus the Bulls, and then Thursday we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting stretch of games. Now, they do get a reprieve on Sunday, March 13th against Magic. They have to come right back home. They're in Orlando Sunday, late afternoon, 6 p.m. They have to come back Monday for a 7:30 versus the Nuggets. That might be a loss. Okay? Then they got to go back on the road to play the Cavs on Wednesday, come back home to play the Mavericks on Friday night, Sunday at home versus Toronto, then the very next day play at home against the Heat. Man, that is a doozy stretch of games for the Sixers. And if I'm being honest with you guys, let me see here. 1, 2, I'm going to say 3. I see a minimum of 3 losses in that stretch. Doesn't mean the Sixers are a bad team. Doesn't mean they can't win an NBA championship. But it's a tough stretch of games with the schedule, the way it lays out. That's all I'm saying. So don't be disappointed when the Sixers lose a couple games coming up in the next couple weeks. Doesn't mean that Harden and Embiid can't play together and they automatically stink. It just means you're playing some really good teams and you can't win every game in the NBA. All right, it's time to give you the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. Over at 973ESPN.com, the 973 ESPN mobile app, you've been voting all week. Here are your nominees for the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. Caitlin Boggs from Mainland Regional. The senior scored 19 points, grabbed 10 rebounds to lead the Mustangs to their second Cape Atlantic League championship in the last 4 seasons. She's also named the game's MVP. Samaj Bethea of St. Augustine Prep, a sophomore, made a 30-foot shot at the buzzer to win the Cape Atlantic League semifinal versus Holy Spirit before the Prep played in the finals. He hit another big 3 in the final game, the Cal Championship, when St. Augustine Prep lost in overtime. Cohen Cook of Mainland, another big game, a career-high 26 points, including 2 important free throws to lead the Mustangs to their first Cape Atlantic League basketball tournament championship. He was also named the game's MVP, a sweep at the Cal Championships for the Mainland Mustangs. James Haney of Atlantic City High School, sophomore, broke 5 school records in swimming this season. He won the 200-meter freestyle at the Cape Atlantic League meet and holds the butterfly, individual medley, and 3 freestyle marks in Atlantic City High School swimming history. Jake Slotnick of St. Augustine Prep, the senior, won the Regional 8 wrestling title at 150 pounds. He improved his season record to 150 and 157 pounds to 20 wins and just 2 losses. And he has advanced to the state championship this weekend in Atlantic City. Finally, Brock Zarowski of Lower Cape May, the junior, won the 165-pound title at the Region 8, improving his record on the season to 30-0. He will be wrestling this weekend in Atlantic City at the championship. So those are your nominees for the South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. And your winner this week, with 55% of the vote, it's actually one of the highest percentage of votes we've ever gotten in this voting poll system we've done, goes to Atlantic City sophomore James Haney, the swimmer. Congratulations to him. You are this week's South Jersey High School Athlete of the Week. Don't forget, you can vote each week at 973ESPN.com and 973 ESPN mobile app, and we announce the winners each Friday night. And of course, you can check out past winners over on the website as well at 973ESPN.com. Thanks, everybody, for the busy football conversation. A lot of Eagles talk, a lot of NFL wide receiver conversation earlier. Sixers basketball coming up at the top of the hour. Before we get out of here, you know I love my UFC. Couple things. One, huge rivalry matchup. This is a bad blood feud. This is not fraudulent. This is not fake. I was telling Mike Gill earlier, I am willing to guarantee, if it was a prop, I would guarantee you to take it. I am telling you right now, whoever wins this fight is going to give an obscene gesture to the other guy after the fight. So if you have people who don't want to see certain things, or you have young children, keep away from the television when this fight happens. All right. I'm going with Masvidal. I understand he's a heavy underdog, but I think Covington is not thinking straight. I think Covington is too busy being the villain and too busy trash talking to actually be 100% focused in this fight. I think Masvidal is a calmer fighter, the more focused guy. I think that he's going to win the fight. I like him. Yes, I know he's plus 250 at a lot of books, plus 265 over at FanDuel, plus 250 at DraftKings. I like Masvidal to win. I also like Rafael dos Anjos to win his fight. And I think Kevin Holland blows out Oliveira. Have a great night, everybody.